On this week's episode of the Iron Skillet podcast, we have Jeff Wiltshire and James Bowens from Cannon Prep Basketball. It's an athletic organization that focuses on basketball and prepares athletes for the next level of gameplay and instilling a relentless attitude for achieving excellence. Amidst the pandemic, they started this journey when the youth in the community really needed it, while maintaining a safe environment and following all COVID protocols. They welcome all skill levels and ages from 4 to 7 all the way up to high school. We discuss what it took to get something like this off the ground and the details surrounding the program. If you're looking to get your youngins involved, this is a must listen. We're proud to bring these guys on the podcast and share their story. Let's get into it. Welcome back. It's the Iron Skillet podcast. In the building tonight. You know who I am, Bullwhip. Got Shator Lane, the humble savage, in the building. T. Clem on the boards. And as of late, we've been doing a lot of virtual podcasts, but we have some special guests in the building tonight from Cannon Prep Basketball. We got Jeff Wiltshire and James Bowen here to talk to us about their program that they just came out of nowhere with. In the midst of COVID, they are putting on for the community. But if you guys aren't familiar with us, we are a group of creatives that focus on personal and community growth, which is another reason why I felt like this was necessary. Like when I seen what you guys were doing, I was like, man, we got to get them on. I want to spread the message, and I want everybody out there to know, and if they want to get involved with it, how.
Right.
So let's start it from the top. Kind of summarize what Cannon Prep Basketball has got going on.
Want to kick off?
I'll kick it off. Yeah. So it's a couple different programs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just to kind of give you an idea of why we did this, right? Is because we have this passion, we have this background, we've been playing ball our whole lives. Me and Jay actually worked together for a couple of years, and we were like, man, we got this opportunity despite COVID. It's like two sides of it. It's like, hey, do we start it during a pandemic? But then the other side is there's people who really need it. There's kind of a desire for it. Yeah. So, I mean, we basically we're trying to cater to all different age groups, bunch of different demographics. So we have stuff for 4 to 7 year olds. We call it Little Cannons. We have an 8 to 12 group, which is kind of one of our largest groups. And then in that same age range, we have a 10 and under travel team.
Nice.
That Coach Jay he kind of facilitates that. And then we also work with some high school kids as well. And then we offer individual workouts if people want to kind of step outside that group setting.
That is like a wide range, and that's awesome because you are catering to the whole youth spectrum. You're not just limited to the little cannons or the big cannons.
Yep.
And so we all know that you guys have a history in basketball. How long you been playing, James?
So funny thing, I've probably been playing since I was like 8, but I didn't actually start competing until I was 12 because I didn't make a team. It's kind of crazy. A lot of people don't know that. I didn't actually make a team until my 8th grade year.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Because I saw James ball out in high school.
Yeah.
It was a lot of summers, man. We moved to Winchester, built a court on the driveway. I was out there every day.
Yeah.
That was all.
That's how you do it.
Yeah,
time.
James the type you show up at the gym and people are like, oh, where'd this cat come from? He can hoop.
Wow. Yeah.
I started when I was 8 years old, and much like James, I was just happy being the fastest kid on the court. I wasn't good at all. And 9, 10, 11 starting to enjoy it, kind of like these guys. And about 11 or 12, it was on from there. My dad had the same passion, kind of like we did. So we was in the boys club every weekend, every Saturday, and he'd have 20, 30 kids doing it for free. So for me, it's kind of a give back from what I got.
Yeah.
So I've been playing ball for a long time. I ain't gonna drop my age out here or anything.
We can see it.
Yeah.
No.
But before kids later, I still hoop, man. Still hoop.
Yeah.
Now the reason why I asked that is just I want the people to know that you guys have the knowledge and the mindset
for sure
to lead these kids and teach these kids. So you got the age ranges, and you also mentioned before we came on skill levels and how you cater to, beginners or, seasoned
those different
vets.
stages. Yeah. That's a big part of it, right? So we when we post these events, a lot of times they have those ages listed, but that's very superficial, because as a parent, you might read that and say, oh, my kid's 8.
Yeah,
but
right.
my kid might not be as talented as these other 8-year-old kids there. So we tried to split that up and offer some additional things. So a lot of times we'll allow people to sign up, and then we'll kind of see what their talent level's like, and we'll split them up based on how well they perform and like where they're at. So we try to personalize it, because it's not fair for them to come out and get, maybe you got somebody like some of these kids on our travel team over here that are really advanced, and they come out and spend an hour with us, and they're doing stuff that they knew how to do 3 years ago. Right. It's like, no, we got to challenge those kids a little bit more. And for the kids who are just kind of picking it up, let's cater to them and start a little bit more fundamental.
And it's also kind of free advertisement when, we have our kids that come from our team, and you have a kid that's fresh, hey, I want to play basketball, and they see that, they see where they're at. It's almost like a marker. Like, oh, wow. Oh, they're part of that program. This is what they've been able to do with these types of kids. And that's really what we want. Like, our passion is, like, I want the worst kid on the team, not worst or whatever you want to call it, label it. I want the kid that's 10th on the bench to eventually try to get to, that number 1 spot. If they don't, oh, well, but at least they're trying, they're seeing. Right. So that's really a big part of it. And, identifying those skill sets and practices or training, it's huge. It really is. And it's been so much fun just to kind of see it start and grow from there.
It's happened real quickly too, just because like some of the stuff that we've already held, you can already see. You can see the growth in some of these kids. How
long's Cannon Prep been going? I know I seen it during COVID. I'm sure you guys have been talking about this for a while. When was the first Cannon Prep practice?
Well, congratulations to us. This is our first year in business this month.
A whole year anniversary right now.
Congratulations.
We're officially a year deep. So with our LLC. So this is kind of a beautiful little cherry on top to be here to talk about it for real.
I'm sure you guys have learned a lot along the way too, and with COVID and protocols and having to work around this and that. And what I really like about this and what you guys are doing is you guys are following protocols and checking on COVID, because we tried to set this interview up months ago. But just being precautious, we had to postpone.
That's right.
And that's what I like. So, not everybody's going to do that. Everybody, some people see $1 and it's like, I got to make it happen. But you guys are, more worried about the safety of the team and the parents.
Absolutely.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, we had a sensitivity to that, of course, that we're operating within a pandemic. But you also, you got to find an opportunity to take a negative and turn to a positive. So we did. I mean, we found ways to operate outside. We, were fortunate enough that we had a lot of buy-in family. My dad helped put in almost a high school half court outside, and that's where we operated during the summer. Parents were more comfortable with that. Then, we kind of went to the sportsplex, and like you said, we had those protocols, temp checks, and, trying to keep age groups tighter and limited and making sure that we were hand sanitizing and spraying balls down. So just being conscious and not saying, oh, well, we got to stop. We can't do nothing, COVID, and quitting. We just took it and said, this is what we can do, and operated within that. And we've had some success from that. So.
I feel like that shows your guys' belief in it, because like, I really feel like this time either made or break, like makes or breaks a lot of people. But if you really believe in it and you want to make it happen, like, you're going to push through all that adversity.
Absolutely.
And I think kids right now need something to do that's positive more than ever. Like, something to get outside that's safe, that's positive. And if they're passionate about wanting to be better at basketball or learning, you know what I mean? And you guys have a positive community for them to be a part of. I feel like that's something amazing that they can, buy into and grow from, for sure.
It's absolutely, it's huge. I mean, it's twofold. Like you said, you have the kids that are coming because they want to improve. And then you just got kids that need something. Even we're getting kids that have never picked up a basketball that show up. And I think it's partly because of how, the program looks and how James and I interact with kids. A lot of excitement, enthusiasm. And, it's like I said, there's certain sensitivity that not every kid is coming out as Michael Jordan, you know what I mean? Or, AI, my guy, Kyrie, whoever it is, you know what I mean? Some kids have a certain starting point, and this might not be something they're into a week from now, but we want to give different kids different opportunities. And you said it perfect. It just opened that door, and it's been awesome.
So funny thing to kind of further validate that too. I think me and Jay kind of balance each other out a little bit. I don't want nothing to take from either one of us, but he's definitely the fire behind us. He really is. Like I'm a little bit more conservative. I tend to overthink things a little bit. So when we first got started in February, I don't think we held our first camp until like August.
It was a while.
Yeah, it was something like that. So it was a couple months of us planning.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember I was nervous. We
Yeah.
had a lot of conversations about like, is this the right time? And he's like, no, we got this. It's good.
Yeah. It's never the right time.
Right.
But you just got to do it.
Absolutely.
Like starting a business pre-COVID is hard to do, but y'all did it during COVID, so
Yes.
kudos.
Thank you, man.
So imagine what's gonna be like when you guys have already started to build a community. You know what I mean? Imagine when everyone is gonna have no reservation. It's just what I mean. I'm excited for that for sure.
We're hyped. Yeah, the momentum, it's real. And, a lot of things fell into our lap and, in a good way. So, yeah, the momentum is going to be so real. And we're excited about that, And he said it, we balanced each other out. The first camp I don't even think I was there because I think we had a team thing. So, it just was one of those things that I might be the driving force to say, let's do it. But at the same time,
You're my hype man.
Yeah.
There you go.
hype man.
Everybody needs that.
If I ever got like any concerns, I just talk to
like-
Jay. And
Yeah.
it's like, I'm straight.
I'm
now.
good
We got
now.
this.
You got it, man.
That's
So,
dope.
I mean, somebody's got to carry the team when he gets kicked out of the game.
Uh-oh.
Somebody's got to
Fired
coach.
up. He gets fired up. For sure.
No. I want to bring it back to the summary. So, camp, you guys got practices. What all does that entail for the listeners who are thinking about getting involved? How many times a week? When do you do it? Just a little quick summary.
let you touch on the camp stuff, and I'll talk about the team thing.
Yeah. All right. So each month has changed a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, as we talk about COVID, it's had to be fluid. So we are reliant upon a lot of these other local gymnasiums to get time until we live the dream and we get our own gym, right? Our own Cannon Prep Coliseum.
Yeah.
Hey,
so got a nice ring to it, right?
Yeah.
So
you guys put some thought into that.
Yeah,
you know it.
so we're a little bit reliant on that time. So I think the first couple months we started, I think we had only used Saturday gym times. We had booked a couple hours, and we had held a couple. I think it was like one free camp.
Yeah.
We did like a free camp just to invite people out, like
That's
get them
cool.
active.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then that transformed a little bit into, you know what, let's do set Fridays and Saturdays.
Mhm.
And then we had, I think Fridays was our high school days, and then Saturdays we had we had little cannons and our young cannons, the 12 group. So it's kind of graduated from there. And like right now we're Saturdays and Sundays. We took off the Fridays a little bit to make it easier for scheduling. But yeah, I mean, it's, again, we're fitting all three of those demographics if we can. The little cannons, the young cannons, and then some of those high school individual workouts too, Saturdays and Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say, one of the crazy things is that when we did, the Fridays, we stepped out on faith. Like, let's just schedule it. If anybody shows up, they do. If they don't, we'll go ball.
Yeah.
And we had
Friday's a tough one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did that. And there was Fridays where you're like, but dang, ain't it's so here, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now
okay.
we got kids that are showing up, and it's a beautiful thing. We have high school kids that we're like, are we ever going to get a high school kid that wants to work with us? Because they've already built in an audience with another program,
Of course.
yada, yada, yada.
Of course.
So we've actually started to get that, and it's been sweet.
And you have those school reservations too. That's the other tough thing is that we battle a little bit, is that middle school and up, almost like into high school, you get, if they're already playing for a travel team, if they're playing for a school system, it's almost like they're exclusive.
Yeah.
It's hard to get
Man,
them
you guys
outside
are
of that.
1 year in. Y'all about to have, like, you know what I mean? There's going to be levels, and they're going to be just growing
It's
with
crazy.
you guys.
It's
And
crazy.
you guys are going to be helping them, teach them, and,
Yeah.
mold them.
I mean, perfect segue. I mean, talking about our 10 and under team, our 10U, our class of 2029, we have some 2030 on there. But that's like going to be our group, like you said, that'll go through and that'll hopefully
The inaugural group.
it's a
Cool.
special,
Yeah.
it's a special thing, and it has been so unique to see those guys mature. I mean, we had guys that were part of other programs that I feel like the air was out the balloon, and they've jumped on, and gotten with our program, and bias for sure. But I've seen so much growth within them, and what's so funny is for our team, we practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So these kids are in the gym a good bit. And like you said, we played in a lot of tournaments. And past weekend, we were at a tournament in Horizon's Edge in Virginia, and we come in with a certain presence, and we give this team, basically classwork. And our kids, they just showed out.
Fundamentals.
I mean, we just showed out. We looked the part, we act the part, and we just really came in. And I was proud of how we represented our brand. Not the entire weekend. We laid a bit of an egg, but in that game, it was so unique. And I say all that to say, and these guys can attest to it. A parent comes up to me after the game, like, we got to be a part of it. I don't know this guy from Adam. And he runs up on me. He's like, where are you guys out of? What are you doing? You guys look the part. Yeah. This is a family. I'm like, yeah, I'm a little nuts, but this is what we're doing.
We're out here for it. Yeah.
This is what we're doing. So it's been so cool. And he's been emailing us and everything. But the team it's a part of what we do. The training's the main thing. And we've kind of battled, like, because there is such an interest in people wanting to have their kids on teams. And, we only have 10U, but if you look at other programs, they have 10U boys, girls, all the way up to, 18.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out if that's something we want to do. So if people are interested, are listening, they have that interest, doors open. We're just waiting to see kind of if it's worth it, because it's time consuming.
Oh, right.
It takes me away from the
Takes a
training
lot.
part,
Of
and
course.
then puts a lot of the burden on James to carry it. So
I love the way you put that. You guys look and act the part,
Yeah.
but what really got me there is you called it a family.
yeah,
And I think promoting it in that sense, and the brotherhood,
Yep.
and these boys are young and they're going to grow up together,
Yeah.
and whether they go to the same school or not, they're building connections and also learning the game.
100%. I mean, and that's true in all ways of it. We were fortunate enough that, like I was saying before this started, Alex and I had met with the other team that we were on, and organically, man, just seeing the same things, like, oh, this situation just isn't right. And then James and I started the business. Alex kind of jumped on board and fast forwarded our business. Like I was telling you, to me, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but 3 to 4 years,
Right.
merch. I mean, unreal.
Y'all look like you've been in the game
premium.
3 to 4 years.
Premium stuff,
Yeah.
too.
I mean, our
Very premium.
website, boom, professional. I mean, it would have cost us thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to do. I don't know you $1, but it would have cost a lot to. You know how it is to jumpstart a brand.
Yeah.
It costs
Oh, yeah.
a lot, and I feel like we're a brand, but behind the brand is a group of guys that really believe in each other, and that's what's been so special about it, man. Is people like that believe and jumped on board, and again, our success is his success. And that's why we're doing okay.
I feel like something you guys have that you cannot teach is, and I don't even know you guys. I know you from high school, but I don't know much about what you guys got Cannon Prep, but you have culture.
Yeah.
Like, I feel, and that's not something you can teach. And that's something that if you can get people to buy in and believe in what you're trying to teach them, because if you can tell someone to do something all day, if they don't buy into it, it's not going to work. But I feel like your guys' energy is so genuine, and what you're trying to do, you have real clarity around that. And like, people buy into that more than they do just knowing that they're going to make somebody hit so many jump shots. You know what I mean?
And that's a big part of it. Is and I know James feels the same way, that we didn't just want to collect people's money and hey, come to our gym and we'll take you through some layups. You know what I mean? That's great, but there had to be something more. We want long-term buy-in. So we want, and we were talking, about packages and what to charge people. And that's why I think we battle with that, because we want people to show up, but we want them to feel like, man, I paid for this. Was special. My kid got something out of it, regardless if it's basketball related or just, the environment. So, that they're in.
It's really cool because, I think if you ask any hooper, you ask anybody who grew up playing ball, there's always at least one formative person in their life that influenced them and kept them positive and kept them driving. And I think we both just kind of realized without even really saying it, we were like, yo, we have an amazing opportunity here to be those guys for this next generation.
Yeah.
And as cliche as that sounds, shout out to Logan. It just
Cliche.
There you go.
I had to say it for the podcast. But it's real though.
Yeah.
I think it's really genuine, and we want people to be an experience.
Yeah.
Right? It should be more than just hoops. It should be more than just y'all paying us for this. Like, we want your kids to remember this and grow into this. So.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I can tell, definitely.
It's so funny. Like I said, we were at a tournament last week, and James ran the camps. I took the team to a tournament, and just to kind of piggyback on the passion part, my man beat himself up all weekend about, it wasn't right. This wasn't right. This wasn't right. And I'm getting texts. My sister had, I have friends that are going to it, send their kids. I'm not there, but I'm getting texts of how much they loved it and can't wait to come back. And it's, we think we're not doing great because we want it to be so good.
Yeah.
But outside looking in, it's they really are like, they bang with it. So it's like, oh, this is kind of sweet. This is not validation to take a day off, but you're doing all right. You know what I mean?
I think no matter what you do, like from the outside looking in, you always think that way, like, man, I could have did this better. Oh, I don't know if it's going so good, when it really does. But what you're doing right there is you're also learning from what's going on. And, you know what I mean? It's just, you guys are 1 year in, and look at you guys.
And we've actually only been actively doing it for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In a pandemic.
I try to remind myself, like, he's my hype man. Like he was keeping me steady, but like you leave some of these and you're like, man, we could have done this better. We could have done this better. Like, I hope this kid understood this. Like, you think about it, because it's like you're trying to make that impact. You don't want these kids to go home feeling like they didn't get anything.
But that's because it matters to you.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing. Like, if it didn't really matter, you'd be like, all right, we check that one off, on to the next one. But that just shows that you guys really like care about it being the best it can, and it's only going to get better the more that you do it.
For sure. Yeah.
I did want to ask you guys, or not even ask you guys, just wanted to make a point of, how important it is to have a positive role model and, an outlet for these kids. And I mean, I think you guys pretty much summed it up right there, and you guys are the epitome of that, and, wanting to lead these youngsters, into something positive. So we're just gonna cross that one off the list. But I want to bring it back. I want to bring it back to the camp, and you also mentioned that on top of the camp and practices, you guys go to tournaments as well.
Yeah.
Touch on that real quick.
With wanting to be competitive, and you start, testing those waters. Where are we at? We put this work in the gym 4 days a week, and then the kids are going to the camps on the weekends, and they're building that bond. Let's see where we're at. So it's kind of unique because there weren't a lot of tournaments at one point because of COVID.
Of course.
So now that they have certain protocols and things in place, they can limit spectators and abide by all the guidelines. So we hit at least 1 to 2 tournaments per month. And, we've been everywhere. We went to D.C., we've been in the United Sportsplex, we've been in Virginia, so we've been a little bit of everywhere. And these kids have had some success. I mean, again, my son's, 3rd grade, 9 years old. Ace is 4th grade, 9 years old. Most kids in those grades are 10 and above. So we're usually playing against older and bigger kids, and these kids compete, man.
They're impressive.
Yeah, they compete because they've bought in. For the most part, they have bought in and they're about it. And when people see that, it kind of comes off and it radiates. So it's really cool to see. And and when they're at the camps, it's even funner to watch because you see other kids that are, I want to be what they are. So it's unique in that manner.
It's really interesting also, like, observing like the levels when it comes to like mental fortitude for these kids too. So like we have some of these younger camps, like our little cannons.
Yeah.
And some of these kids are so nervous to come in there because like the first time they've actually ever like competed with anybody in a drill or anything.
They actually got a referee on the court.
Yeah, like anything. It's so cool, but it's like it's enjoyable and it's rewarding to kind of see that. But then you have so many levels to it. Like we have the 8 to 12, and then we're really pushing these kids, putting them in tournaments. Like Jay is adamant about keeping them in these tournaments. And I think that teaches them that mental part, that confidence too. So when they get into middle school and high school, they can really compete.
Confidence and sportsmanship.
Yeah. Well, the big thing, man, and I know James could probably, speak to this as well, is the fishbowl. A lot of kids can do all the tricks in an empty gym. But there's something about getting in the fishbowl and having eyeballs on you, coaches on, their referees. Like you said, it becomes real. And to be a kid that can rise above and perform it, and that, it just speaks, to them, really. I feel like I help them, but it speaks to where these kids are at. But the little cannons, like our camp, it's funny because 4 to 7 years old, you're thinking, what are these kids going to do? Right. And it's a huge demographic for us. And we've seen kids come in that, like James said, scared to pick up a basketball, that are dribbling and making shots by the end of the game. So, man, it's just a beautiful thing. I love it. So. Yeah.
So, if you guys are listening and thinking about, wanting to get your kids involved in basketball and the camps, I mean, this sounds like a great opportunity. You guys are teaching them. You got practices going.
Yep.
You guys are taking them to tournaments and, testing their skills, showing, seeing where they're at.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I think that's a great thing.
Yeah,
And it came at a time when, you know, the community really needed something like this. Because, you know, growing up, there wasn't too much, you know, outside of like Parks and Rec. I mean, you know, you had what was it?
Monopolized a little bit.
That's what we. That's
Yep.
essentially what we are.
but there wasn't too many, you know, camps when we were
Right.
younger.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, it's so much more competitive now. I mean, we're not unique that there's not other groups like us.
Of course.
You know, we're the new guys on the block, really.
Yeah.
And you know, good or bad to us, there was an opportunity and a void to fill. So that's been kind of cool, being, like I said, the new kids on the block, figuring out, learning it. But yeah, when we were kids, it was all Parks and Rec.
Yeah, that's it.
That was it. And you played you played 10 games and you were on to whatever next sport.
Yeah.
Now these kids are playing basketball, baseball, football year round, competitive. So the needles move. You have to really, like anything, like music, like podcasting, you have to really be in it. You have to really believe in it, buy into it. So it's kind of fascinating.
Loving what you guys are doing, for
Appreciate
real.
it, man.
For the community, for the kids, everything. Let's get into, you know, contact, how, you know, parents could get in contact with you, how they could get involved, wanting to put their kids in it. Spit it.
So big thing I mentioned earlier, it's been kind of fluid because of gym time. So please reach out to us. We have a Facebook page at Cannon Prep Basketball, or you can visit our website, cannonprepbasketball.com, or just cannonprep.com. We post all of our stuff there. Try to get it out a couple weeks in advance if we can, so people can kind of plan around it. Also have the Instagram page. I think that's at Cannon Prep Basketball as well.
Yep.
So we got video content that we try to put out to kind of show, you know, the different type of kids that we're working with, so parents can feel kind of, you know, they can feel comfortable. But again, the posts on the website and on Facebook, and just
CannonPrep.com.
Yeah, CannonPrep.com. We be on the lookout. We try to post as much stuff as we can.
Yeah, the content's sweet, man, for sure.
Look at that. They're also showcasing these kids' skills. You got the game film and everything.
They're gonna be like,
you got the
hey,
whole package.
When they're seniors, they're gonna be like, can I get that footage from my highlight tape?
And again, that's just another shout out to Alex, what he's doing, you know, for us and our brand. I mean, these kids legitimately have high quality mixtapes, you know. And it's legit, like, it's not like, you know, dad in the stands recording their kid and then chopping it up in iMovie. It's legitimate segments. It looks sweet. I mean, it's just, we're presenting these kids in a way that is unlike anyone else, in my opinion. So
nowadays, I want to make a point about how nowadays that is actually very important.
So important.
You know what I mean? Like, social media presence as an athlete, like in showcasing what you can do on social media is like people are going to go to that. Like, if you're getting recruited, they're going to look and they're going to see what you've been doing and how well you can showcase your skills. So the fact that you're providing that just off the strength of believing in what they can do, that's a huge bonus.
It's so funny you say that too, because like when I was in high school and you applying at colleges or schools to play at, they like asked for like a video.
Yeah.
Back then you got like a cassette tape.
Yeah, you mail it to them.
And now it's like it's even more so for these kids.
Yeah.
They got to have all these videos. So.
It's so funny because I had a parent hit me up and her son is a senior and his season's over, and she's like, there's no tape. I have no tape of him. So now she's like, well, he's going to play travel. Can Alex come and record him? Because I told her it is so important that people have individualized footage of your kid.
Definitely.
I mean, you're talking about thousands upon hundreds of thousands of dollars for scholarships, and they're not giving them to everybody. So if nobody knows who you are, you gotta be visible. Like you said, you have to have some type of presence that helps you stand out. And you know, again, I don't know if our kids realize it, but they're fortunate in that regard.
Yeah.
They're getting eyeballs on them. You know, like I said, I dropped an Instagram reel, my first, like 3, and it blew up to me, blew up. It's not really blown up, but 1,000 views of 9-year-olds playing basketball.
Hey man, don't let anybody tell you that's not a win,
Right?
man.
That's a lot.
Man, look,
That's a lot of
that's
people.
Huge win.
1,000. That's a lot of people.
In 24 hours for some 9-year-olds playing ball, I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
And with the videos, that's transparency for the parents,
You
and
got it.
making them feel comfortable that they want to bring their kids to you guys. I want to kind of sum everything up, but you guys got the know-how, the basketball knowledge to lead these kids. It's not like you guys just off the street. We need a dad to come in and coach the team. Like, these guys actually know what's going on, and the fact that you guys are catering to a wide range of ages
And
is
skill level.
awesome, and skill levels is
Yeah.
huge.
It is, man. Sweet.
Man, what else you guys want to say on here? I mean, Any last words for
I mean,
for the listeners?
I really just kind of want to say thank you, honestly, for one, for y'all having us, but also
Yeah.
just
Oh,
for the
dude,
help that we've had.
of
We've
course.
had a lot of support over this short amount of time that we've been doing this.
Mhm.
I got you sitting right there, but I feel like I got to shout you out because for real, he's like the engine behind this. He's been awesome. We work so well together. Alex sitting back there all quiet, but he's awesome behind the scenes. We even have, I call him my brother, but he owns a company in Stewart's Draft, Virginia,
Big love.
a company called Floss Tech.
Mm-hmm.
He does a whole bunch of like technical support for in-home and businesses, and he helped us a lot on the back end with
That's
this
awesome.
too, with setting up like registration forms
Mhm.
and all that.
Not
so
my strong suit, so we needed that.
yeah, we've had a lot of help. So shout out
Yeah.
to everybody for that.
That's
Just
amazing.
shows that people believe in you too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah, man, that's the best. That's the best part. I mean, I think that really is. It's incredible just the support and everybody that's poured out. So I mean, huge shout out to you, man, reaching out. You extended that
Mhm.
olive branch, and this thing it's just getting started. So we appreciate y'all for sure.
Oh,
Can't
of
wait to
course.
see where it goes.
Appreciate
Honored
it.
to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, we love doing stuff for the community. COVID hit, and we kind of took a back seat, and
Yeah.
then so when I seen you guys pop up with the Cannon Prep, I was, and you guys are putting on for the community, and not only that, you're
Mhm.
putting on for the youth. And I was like, man, we gotta, do our part and see if
Yeah.
we could put them on the podcast, and we finally made it
We
happen.
made it happen, man.
Appreciate it.
And I gotta
So-
give a shout out to my wife, man. Hey, shout out to you.
Oh, you
'cause
gonna
I
get me in
shout-
trouble.
like-
Shout out to my wife as well.
Like,
Hey.
I spend a lot of hours in a dirty gym and a lot of hours watching, like you said, and this is kind of my cap. I won't say no more after this, or I'll talk y'all's ear off for 6 more hours. But I spend a lot of time, away from my other kids. You know what I mean, doing this thing, watching footage, watching, different stuff. Just absorbing basketball
It's a
content.
sacrifice.
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
sacrifice a lot, and like I said, spend time in dirty gyms and away from my wife. So shout out to her, shout out to James, shout out to Alex, shout out to my parents and everybody else and my wife's parents, anybody that's chipped in and helped us, man. We appreciate y'all for sure. So
I want to shout out to wifey real quick too. All right, but hey, we got all right. So Cannon Prep basketball, they're doing age ranges from what 4 to
4 to 7 is little cannons, 8 to 12 young cannons, and we don't really have a catchy name for above, but if you got a high school age athlete, send them our way. We'll get them right.
We got the high school cannons. So anyways, you guys want to get involved, you want to get your kids involved, you want to get them to learn the game and be around a great group of youngsters and gentlemen.
There you go.
Reach out to them. They got the Facebook page, got the Instagram, cannonprepbasketball.com, cannonprep.com. Reach out to Jeff Wiltshire or James Bowen. And yeah,
That's it.
keep it rolling. Iron Skillet Podcast. Big whoop.
Well.